Fox News alert, the greatest comeback in American political history. Donald Trump defeating Kamala Harris in a landslide. Axios is calling him one of the most transcendent political figures of our time. After surviving 2 impeachments, 2 assassins, and 94 felony indictments, he did it because you did it. The machine lost, and the Obama-Biden dynasty went down with it. The Republican Party in the United States of America will never be the same.
This is the biggest red wave I've seen since Ronald Reagan's 49-state victory in 1984.
This was a sweeping victory.
He is a seismic force in American history.
I have to see how bad the shellacking is. This is a shellacking for the Democrats tonight.
Trump's on track to win 312 electoral votes, as we believe Arizona and Nevada will move red after their counts. Liberals woke up this morning confused. How could a dictator win the popular vote and take the Senate and probably the House? The answer is simple. They lied to you, but Trump listened to you. They told you the border was secure, the economy was humming, and Joe Biden was an Olympic athlete, even though he couldn't stop falling down and forgetting his own name. If you had a problem with that, they censored you. And when they started losing, they called you fascist garbage who just needed a smack in the ass. The last 4 years, we witnessed the Democrats go crazy. They loaded illegals into airplanes and flew them here. They emptied jails, made up genders, handed out free sex changes, and printed money like Zimbabwe. We all watched it happen. We didn't like it. Trump listened, said, I hear you, I get it, I'll fix it. It's not that complicated. We kept the faith in the face of last-minute hoaxes. Remember, Kamala was going to win Iowa. A comedian made a joke about Puerto Rico. Oh, my God, it's over. Trump's tariffs are going to wreck the economy. Really? Because the market today had its best day in 2 years. Trump did better with Puerto Ricans and beat her by 13 in Iowa. The American people don't like being lied to. Trump even did better with women than Kamala did with men. Imagine that. Wives didn't have to lie to their husbands. The so-called racist dictator shattered records with blacks, Hispanics, Jews, and college students. His margin in Springfield, Ohio, where they're definitely not eating the pets, went up. Trump, Mr. Muslim ban, won Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan. The guy who they said hated Hispanics won Miami-Dade County. That's the first time a Republican pulled that off since Reagan. And the funniest part of the election, and we've had some moments, was that Biden would have done better than Harris if he hadn't gotten whacked.
So you asked, are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally nothing. One Democrat said, this is as bad as I've ever seen. This was a total and complete repudiation of the Democratic Party. People are not buying what we're selling, period. Just like that. Democrats watched the Obama-Biden rainbow coalition evaporate. Not only did Trump defeat Kamala and Biden, he defeated identity politics. DEI is dead. But the Reverend is skipping the funeral.
We've got to be honest, among Hispanic men and black men, there's a lot of misogyny. And I think that we've got to deal with the reality that he appealed to this whole false macho thing that some black men and some Latino men went for.
The Democrats lied to you, and then they made you feel bad about yourself for not swallowing the lie. All Donald Trump did was listen and not write you off. Campaigning with a celebrity security blanket, what was it, Bruce, Beyonce, Oprah? Maybe not the best look when the country can't afford groceries and rent. Kamala met with Liz Cheney more than she met with her own sisters.
There are 9 HBCUs in North Carolina. Do you know how many of them she visited? 1. Imagine if she'd been spending time doing that instead of hanging out with Liz Cheney in the Midwest. Could have been a different story tonight.
Kamala took blacks for granted, pandered to them, made Barack scold them. Same thing with Hispanics. Yeah, she didn't call them tacos like Jill, but you need more than J-Lo.
Look, Hispanic voters are swing voters. And I think, you know, what's interesting here is the Republican Party treated them the same way they treated white working class voters. They courted them the same way they treated white working class voters. The Democratic Party has spent a lot of time treating it as an identity group. And I think we're starting to see sort of a working class coalition start to drift to the right.
Democrats were already having a problem with the white working class, and now they have a problem with the white, black, and brown working class. But black and brown people aren't the only ones getting scolded. White women got a tongue lashing too.
Why do you think that uneducated white women voted against their reproductive health freedoms, and why do you think Latino men voted in favor of someone that's going to deport, says he's going to deport the majority of his community?
White women like being called uneducated white women. I think the economy matters, national security matters. But when you put people in these boxes, I think that's a takeaway from this race.
Abortion was supposed to make this the battle of the sexes. Didn't happen. This election wasn't decided by race or gender. It was decided by class. Trump won the working class, wherever they lived and whatever they looked like. That's the sweet spot of American political power. And the Democrats derided and deserted them, even though they're outnumbered by them. What a stupid strategy. You can't win over America if you hate Americans. And what the Democrats did, and it won't be forgiven for a while, they didn't even look like they cared.
You don't have to be intelligent to know you can't pay your bills. You don't have to be intelligent to know you can't afford groceries. People will forget what you did, they will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
The Democrats deluded themselves into believing they had the people behind them. And they were shocked when the votes came in.
I can tell you in conversations we've had with a series of individuals, including a Democrat who was attending a donor event that was taking place at one of the glitzy hotels not far from where we are here in Washington, D.C. They say the atmosphere there was like a funeral.
This victory restores the power to the people. The Republic had been preyed upon for far too long by a greedy ruling class more interested in control than their own countrymen. Any threat to their power, no matter how minor, was met with the full force of the machine. It worked during COVID, but it doesn't work anymore.
Nobody deserves this more than him, and nobody deserves this more than his family does. This is what happens when the machine comes after you. What you've seen over the last several years, this is what it looks like. Couldn't stop him. He keeps going forward. He doesn't quit. He's the most resilient, hard-working man I've ever met in my life. His family are incredible people. This is karma, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves this. They deserve it as a family.
Make no mistake, Donald Trump has a massive mandate, a common-sense coalition destined to rebuild the American dream. Trump won the election his way. He didn't have to compromise who he was and what he wanted. So his leadership and his agenda must be respected. We've sent him to Washington on a mission, and just like he has high expectations of us, we have high expectations of him. Remember, Trump can't run again, so he's got nothing to lose. He just has to deliver what the American people demand. And with the right team, he'll execute. The future looks bright. Trump is going to be presiding over America's 250th anniversary. How poetic. Oh, and in LA Summer Olympics and the World Cup. What a perfect fate. The Never Trump movement has been vanquished. The lawfare is over. More on that later. And House and Senate troublemakers have all disappeared. While we fight to fix the economy, crime, and the border, we also need to get to the bottom of Butler and what really happened that day. And we deserve to see the Epstein materials, the JFK files, and the Diddy tapes. That's not revenge, that's justice. Last night was the first day of American justice in a very long time. And now Trump has a clear runway to do what he's always wanted to do and what we need him to do. And we'll hold him to his word.
Nothing will stop me from keeping my word to you, the people. We will make America safe, strong, prosperous, powerful, and free again. And I'm asking every citizen all across our land to join me in this noble and righteous endeavor. That's what it is. It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. And we're going to try. We have to try. And it's going to happen. Success will bring us together. I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body. I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.